Sup everyone, Darkscream217 here. Welcome to an episode summary of episode 2 of Tenchi Muyo Ryo Ohki, also known as episode 15 of the OVA series. Now back in the summer, I did a little summary of what I thought about the separate Tenchi shows, from the OVAs to the spin-offs to the movies to the TV series, and I mentioned that the third set of OVAs, which is titled Tenchi Muyo Ryo Ohki, were kind of difficult for me to continue to watch, and I actually had to take a break from continuing viewing the series, and the second episode of this series is why I had to do that. So I'm going to do an opinionated summary in the style inspired by Confused Matthew, but I am going to skip over the first episode of this series because it was just a reintroduction, and a third of it was a clip show of earlier episodes of OVAs. I also want to note that since this video was uploaded, I did not see any of the episodes past this one. In fact, my little summary is going to be the reason why I couldn't continue watching this series for a long time. So if something was better explained later on in the series, it's because I haven't caught it yet, and maybe I will, but try not to spoil it for me if you have seen the rest of the series. Okay? With that, let's begin. The second episode begins where the first one left off, where Tenchi is stunned to see a woman that has the spinning image of his mother, Kiyone Misaki. Tenchi breaks down in tears thinking his mother is back from the dead, but after some comic relief, it turns out that she is in fact Tenchi's older sister, Teno. So yeah, that's ass pull number 1 of 3 in this episode. The fact that Tenchi had an older sister that nobody in his family cared to mention about at all until this very moment. What's even weirder is that when Tenchi was a little kid, she would actually pretend to be her mother at times because of their exact resemblances. Teno returned to Earth to inform Tenchi that he is going to be married soon to a character we weren't even introduced yet. This was all prearranged by Lady Sato Kamiki Jirai, who is Ayaka Sasami's grandmother and the most powerful person on the planet Jirai behind the scenes. She is greatly feared by Ayaka and gives Ryoko an image of how bad she is by saying she is overbearing like Washu times 1,000. She planned this during Tenchi's birth because, according to Sasami, she enjoys playing the matchmaker. Okay, so yeah, that's ass pull number 2. And by the way, what would have happened if Tenchi hooked up with someone on Earth when he didn't know he was a prince from the planet Jirai? Or what if he made a final decision with one of the women in the household, like Ryoko or Ayaka? That would have fucked a lot of things over, not saying it's already screwed up to begin with. Tenya wanted to introduce everyone to the fiancé, but instead Irie appears in the household. Irie is Yosho's current wife. So, Yosho remarried, and again, no one's brought this up until now, so that makes ass pull number 3, and thankfully it was the last one in this episode. And out of the 3 new characters introduced in this entire series, she is my least favorite one, but a little more will be elaborated later in this summary. Let's continue. We do get introduced to Tenchi's fiancée when Tenchi is working on the carrot fields. She appears to save Ryo Ohki from falling off a ledge when she was chasing a butterfly, and when she does see Tenchi for the first time, her eyes darken, a little quick image appears, and she faints. Interesting foreshadowing that did leave me wanting answers on what that was all about, so I'll give the writers credit there. Her name is Noike Kamiki Jirai, the adopted daughter of Lady Sato and the aunt of Ayaka. Oh, and she was also Mahoshi's former partner in the Galaxy Police back when they were detectives. Now there are probably those who are thinking, wasn't Kiyone, that girl with green hair, Mahoshi's partner? Well, yes and no. She was, but only in Tenchi Universe, Tenchi in Tokyo, and the Hasegawa canon of the OVAs. I guess the writers wanted to give Mahoshi a partner like she got one before in alternate continuities, but instead of, writing Kiyone Makibi in, they thought they could kill 2 birds with 1 stone by having the fiancé the buddy cop as well. And to be honest, that really didn't bug me at all, and they already introduced 3 new characters already. Adding any more to this episode would be a clusterfuck of a problem. Noike quickly gets everyone's respect by dinner time, and she was really nice and courteous to everyone, but she violently chews out Mahoshi for taking multiple servings of croquettes. That insensitive bitch taking all the croquettes for herself. Now, here I'm supposed to formulate an opinion on Noike, but I really have nothing extremely negative nor extremely positive to say about her. I mean, she was shoehorned into the series because of the whole fiancé thing, but as a character, you know, she was nice, she was respectful. There was even a part where she said that she would work to earn the carrots even though Tenchi offered them freely at one scene. I don't know, I really have no real emotion towards this character, at least not yet. Maybe my mind will change later on as I continue watching this series more. At the end of the episode, Tenchi visits Yosho at the shrine where Teno and Irie happen to be there. Because Tenchi knows that Irie is now his grandmother, he calls her as such, and she gets pissed off about it. This is one of the biggest problems I have with Irie. She's that archetype in anime where there's like an older female character in the series, and she is extremely hypersensitive about her age. In fact, the first thing she does in the series is bitch slap Ryoko when she calls Irie a middle-aged hag. So Tenchi decides to call her Irie because calling her sissy poo is just too fucking disturbing, and she still gets all emotional over Tenchi. Weird. Later on, Yosho apologizes to Tenchi about all the news he got because a rule passed down to the Masaki family that the Giants aren't supposed to be involved with members of developing civilizations, and they only reveal their secrets to children until they're coming of age. It was a rather too convenient excuse to hide the fiancé and older sister until now, but whatever. At least they tried to explain it rather than just not explaining it at all. And after hearing that, I did calm down a little about all those revelations the first time I saw this episode. So when Tenchi asks what happens when the family knows the truth about the Jirai royal family, they get the option of venturing into space, but half of those who leave return to Earth in a couple of decades and have to put on a new disguise. Immediately, Yosho reveals to Tenchi his true identity, which is actually his younger appearance that was shown in some of the flashbacks on the first set of OVAs. That didn't bother me at all because it turns out he had that disguise and he revealed it back in episode 13 to his mother, so yeah. He tells Tenchi to keep his identity a secret from Ayeka and everyone else. Now, before I end this summary, I want to mention one more thing. Teno leaves to meet her friends from high school, and she kisses Tenchi on the cheek and leaves. Whatever. Irie gets jealous, so before she leaves, she kisses Tenchi on the lips in front of Yosho, her husband, and he doesn't care. Okay, does every girl in the series, including their fucking grandmothers, have to love Tenchi in one way or another? So yeah, 15 seconds of silence and tea making later, Tenchi asks what's gonna happen with his life, and Yosho answers he has no idea. So yeah, that was the entire episode summary. 3 characters, one of them I'm just impartial to, the other 2 characters I'm really not liking so far, and each of them bring a big surprise of ass pulls. I really couldn't continue watching the series after all that. It was actually kind of difficult. Who knows? Because they might pull some more stuff like this later on in the series, and that's what I was really nervous about. Something that could really rape the continuity even harder. But I do have some final thoughts. After watching this episode a second time in preparation for this little summary rant, it did not annoy me as much as it did my first time viewing it. In fact, it caused me to lighten up a little, and I actually do have a greater motivation to finish watching this series. Because, again, I'll say it, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I might actually like this series later on. Maybe this is just one of those huge potholes in the road that you just have to, like, really drive to the side in order to enjoy the rest of the trip. Who knows? But yeah, I am going to continue watching this. My series. This is just a little opinionated summary of the episode, not the entire series. My thoughts on the entire series are still subject to change. Who knows, maybe I'll make more videos later on talking about this particular series. Well, that's all I have to say. Leave a comment if you wish. Darkscream217 signing out.